Hey everyone, it's Madison Gesiotto coming to you once again from quarantine. You know, over the years I've followed the UN Human Rights Council and I've been consistently disappointed and outraged by many of the decisions that they've made when it comes to what countries they put on panels that are meant to hold countries across the world accountable for their human rights abuses. I mean, this is their job and they've continued to fail to do it correctly at the UN. We've seen the completely unfair treatment of Israel by the UN Human Rights Council. And you know, when we look at the countries that are part of the council, 11 out of 47 of these countries are not even considered to be free countries by Freedom House. This is insanity. And of course, we can't forget the fact that throughout the entire history of the UN Human Rights Council, not once have they passed resolutions condemning the completely outrageous behaviors of countries like China, Russia, Cuba, Saudi Arabia, yet they continue to have countries involved like Venezuela, Libya, Pakistan, and most recently, just this month, China has been appointed to a panel as part of the UN Human Rights Council, and they're going to be in charge of picking close to 17 investigators, people that are supposed to enforce and find out truth about the human rights abuses that we're seeing across the world. If this isn't a joke, I don't know what is. China's history and record on human rights abuses is extremely long. It goes back generations. We've seen them consistently spying on their own people for many years. We've seen the religious persecution in which they put Muslims and other religious minorities in concentration camps in their country. To this day, this is happening. And of course, most recently, we look at their handling of coronavirus. They put not only their own citizens, but people across the world at risk. They've lied. They did the same thing back in the early 2000s with the SARS outbreak. They're continuing to lie when it comes to their numbers on deaths. It's really, really scary to think that a country like China, who has this horrible record, could be such a huge part of the UN Human Rights Council that's supposed to be putting an end to these type of records. You know, we received a bit of criticism here in the United States for pulling out. This was President Trump's decision to pull out as a member of the UN Human Rights Council back in 2018. But this was the only decision that we could make. If the UN is not going to properly enforce and to condemn the behaviors of countries across the world, we cannot be part of this. We cannot continue to prop these countries up and to help enable them to continue these behaviors. The United States made the right decision, and we need to continue not only here in the United States, but around the world to call out the human rights abusers, including China, including Russia, including Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, and so many others. We must seek truth.